Welcome today, guys. We have a really important topic to bring up. I'm just gonna bring up the obvious. You've noticed that male procrastination and the laziness that's going on among men in our society is reaching levels of an epidemic. It's posing a serious threat to our success, relationships, and even the future of our species. And in today's fast-paced world, the stakes have never been higher. Yet, too many of us are falling victim to procrastination, putting off important tasks and letting procrastination derail our ambitions. But fear not, because in this video, I'm gonna help you with the tools and strategies to break free. And I don't just mean break free, but I mean earn the top spot. Because it's easier than ever with people sitting on their phones more, getting on social media, falling victim to all the terrible addictions that are out there. It's toxic, and you can get ahead. So essentially, buckle up, because it's time to rise above this level of this epidemic and truly stand out in a time where attention is so hardly focused and easily manipulated. Finding that focus sets you free and earns you the respect of those who just can't. We're gonna fix the easy mistakes, but we're also gonna move into the higher level of focus and how you can actually change the way you structure and complete tasks to be a better version of yourself. So first, the big three, the foundation of this pyramid. The first of these three is mindfulness and meditation. And man, I know meditation seems a bit out there, but it's a true game changer. That doesn't necessarily mean sitting with your legs crossed like this for 25 minutes a day. It means from at least 5 to 12 to 15 minutes, find some time out of the day, because I know you have it. Download an app like Headspace, or just find a video guide and just sit and let your thoughts creep out. And when you're able to recognize the way you feel in the moment and become centered in that moment, it lets you regain control of what your body's doing. When you can recognize that your body's slipping into this direction of tired or this direction of anxious, and you have an understanding of what that is, you don't necessarily even have to do anything. You've already gained control because you know what's going on with yourself, and that's more than most people. So then when you stop meditating and you go to complete a task, you're completely aware of what you're thinking, and it's easier for you because you're tuned in with your body now to say, I'm getting distracted, I'm gonna reorient myself. So strategically plan when you meditate and do mindful activities, and try to do them before you're about to put in some hard work, so you're already aware of your surroundings. The next is physical exercise, and I'm lumping that with a diet as well. Research suggests that physical exercise and healthy eating aren't just about looking good, they're about fueling our bodies and minds for peak performance. Regular exercise increases blood flow and stimulates the growth of new brain cells. Specifically, working out in the morning triggers your body into that fat metabolism burning state, and you're hungry literally for the whole day. So when you work out first in the morning, you're starting your day off with not only a success, but a way to kickstart your day, because the energy and the blood's already flowing through your system and you're ready to keep attacking. Meanwhile, a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins like chicken, pork, almonds provides essential nutrients that support cognitive function as well as mental clarity. So let's make physical activity and mindfulness, as well as that diet, non-negotiables in the way we focus ourselves from here on out. Most of you don't even have control over your diet, let alone what you put your mind to. So if you can first start by recognizing that the food that you eat directly fuels your brain, you'll notice that when you change the diet and you exercise more, that brain as well as your body will become healthier, and it'll be easier then to practice mindful activity, and it'll keep scaling off of each other. The final third part of the bottom tier, brain enhancement and cognitive training. Not very many people actually train their brain. Right? You don't sit around and you don't work it like a bicep curl in the gym. Most people try to target their brain by keeping the rest of their body healthy, doing cardio, weightlifting, whatever it is to keep your body in a healthy shape, because a healthy body is a healthy mind. But how do you actually work out your brain? Well, when you actually put stress on your brain, or when you challenge it with problems that it has to work on to solve, it'll generate more neuron connections, and places like your hippocampus or your prefrontal cortex will actually develop and grow healthier and stronger. There's a couple brain training apps I have on my phone, but you can find something that challenges your brain in a new way every day because it has to solve new problems. Even just simply play Wordle, or something that your brain has to think about to solve problems. And do it at the end of the day, because at the beginning, your brain should be on the important problems. But at the end, when it's tired, is where you push it and build endurance so that the next day, you will have more ability to go longer. Engaging in brain training activities, according to research, can actually improve attention as well as memory and executive function, which is control of our body, our reaction time, and the way we're able to quick come up with results to problems that face us. In a study published in the journal PLOS ONE, researchers found that participants who regularly engaged in brain training exercises showed improvement in sustained attention ability. Whether it's through apps, online courses, watching videos like these where you have to think about the things I'm saying, doing those things once a day for a set period of time and staying consistent in a way I'm about to show you will keep you developing that focus, because it's not just a temporary thing. It's a permanent skill that you work on and develop as a craft. Have you heard everything I've said? Or have you gotten bored? Good, because now that we've recognized that, it's time to move on to part 2. Now that we've built our foundation, moving on to target the next tier of focus allows us to achieve an exponentially greater amount of result. And the way the pyramid works is once you have your top tier, everything below it generates easier results for the things at the bottom. The bottom skills are the things you practice day to day. Middle are things you'll practice in the slightly longer term. And the top is essentially your ultimate focus. And it guides yourself down to a day-to-day journey. So now let's move on to that second stage. In order to do that, we have to have a real talk for a second. We know how easy it is to get sucked onto social media, even like YouTube that you're watching this on, or TikTok, or Instagram. But I will tell you, I've done the research. The death scroll is so much more harmful to your brain than you could ever imagine. It's essentially beaming light and beaming dopamine into your brain so that the brain cannot focus on cognitive tasks because it's in too good of a feel-good state. It's essentially getting high and trying to then go solve problems. You wouldn't do drugs or get high before you went and played a football game or a hockey match, because your brain and your body abilities won't be at the highest peak performance they need to be to actually execute. So you need to first remove the feel-good drug, the high scrolling, before you can move on and actually focus like a real man. And especially the sexual content. In a study published in the Journal of Behavioral Addictions, researchers found that individuals who frequently consume sexual content online exhibit lower significant levels of cognitive control and increased impulsivity, leading to decreased focus and productivity. So when you give in to the porn, you give in to the sexual content that's trying to pull you away, every time you get in, it's like getting out of the gym and then immediately eating a burger, right? You don't want to resist the urge to just get what you want, and it's ending up costing you again, because the next time you go out of the gym, you say, well, I had a burger last time, it's this much easier for me to convince myself to go do it again. And if you know that that's on Instagram, right? And you're, on your phone trying to text a client, you're gonna be like, oh, well, I did that, now I have to wait 5 minutes. I might as well open Instagram and get that instant gratification, because that's triggering my success hormone. That's saying that I essentially did my job. I texted my client, so now I can get this immediate satisfaction of seeing a booty video online. Furthermore, prolonged exposure to sexual stimuli can desensitize the brain's reward system. Reducing sensitivity to natural rewards and increasing the risk of addictive behaviors. Your sexual addiction can translate into a nicotine addiction, an alcohol addiction, because your friend that's addicted to these sexual behaviors or talking about sex all the time, or vice versa, is talking about vaping or drinking or going out, is probably addicted to all this group of things, because one addiction gateways you to all these other things that are common. The desensitization can impair decision-making processes and weaken the ability to regulate impulses, further hindering our ability to stay focused and on task. If you knew what you were doing was painful for you, why do you keep doing it? It feels good, yeah, but would you rather look 30 years from now back on today and said, I could have been that man that I wanted to be, but these addictions and these problems desensitized me, where I couldn't focus because all I wanted was that quick reward that I got from social media. You have to cure this problem before the bigger problems can actually be accomplished, because I'm telling you they can. And it's easy in this generation to make that statement because most people are addicted. So remove social media, limit it, do everything in your power to cut that out, and you'll be succeeding at half of that second tier. The other half is cultivating the growth mindset. Removing distractions can only get you so far. It can only free up your mental ability to solve the problems. But now how do you focus when your brain doesn't know if it can solve a problem? So overcoming that relies on what's called the growth mindset. So in a study published by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that individuals with a growth mindset are more resilient in the face of obstacles and exhibit greater perseverance in pursuing their goals. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And especially if you have social media out of the way, you become an invincible object, an unstoppable force. Because not only are the chains that are pulling you back removed where you can actually sprint, but now you're on essentially steroids and you're running much faster because you have this boost of adrenaline that's just constantly running through you. And that is the growth mindset. So what is the growth mindset if you don't know? It's essentially your ability to simply do nothing more than believe in the fact that learning is a continuous process. That once you graduate college or high school, that you didn't achieve your end result. That you can constantly learn and get better at the thing you're doing. You know, I was in a class or a teacher was talking about this, and he said that his doctor said, you know, I've become a cardiovascular surgeon. I've achieved that state. I got the degree. So why would I need to keep learning if my learning has been achieved, if I have the certificate? And that's a dangerous mindset because when new practices come out for cardiovascular surgery or improved methods to actually increase the chances of survival for the patients, or a quicker way to prevent injury. All those things, and if you're not learning about them, you won't stay caught up. And not only will you increase the risk of staying complacent and losing to other people, but also your business, whatever it is going to fail because other people will find a way to do it. So when you believe learning is a constant forward motion, when you get good at social media or marketing or finding clients online, you're not just gonna say, okay, well, I've done it. I'm the expert. I can just sell courses or whatever. Anyone that's actually good and makes money becoming an expert or a mentor to others is still, I guarantee you, reading, learning, finding new sources to improve what they can teach online. The people that don't just become insignificant and fall behind because they're not keeping up. Human progress is meant to be pushed and pushed to the next level. And if you're not showing you're growing with the times, you'll simply get left in the past. So we built our basic skills. The bottom of our structure is there, our day-to-day. Next, we've gotten rid of, on a higher level, the things that are pulling us away from our ability to focus for a long term. And basically untying the chains that have been holding us back from reaching that potential. And we've also been able to provide that flame that can help drive our grit and our discipline through understanding that we can keep learning. So when you tie those together, it makes you a person that does not give up, a person that is true grit. Because most people don't have that nowadays. Because why try at something if you can reward yourself online? And if you can reward yourself by simply saying, I can't do that, that's not something meant to be done. By solving those two problems, you're ahead of probably 90% of the population. How we get to the 99 is by the final tier, the highest point of our pyramid. We're gonna call it the roadmap. Most of you have no clue where you're going. You say, I wanna make it, I wanna have this, I wanna have that. But you don't actually know what your perfect life looks like. You say, oh, that would be nice to have. Oh, I want that sports car. But you sound like an idiot because you don't know exactly what your life looks like. You wanna own and do everything, but you don't know that every person has to choose what they do in their life. And their life has an actual image to it. When your life is just full of all this nonsense and you can't actually put a final destination on it, you won't actually know if you made it in the end or not. How can you know if you succeeded when you're not even guided to that path of success or even have an end point? If I'm driving from LA to New York, but New York isn't New York and it's just somewhere on the East Coast, I could get to Vermont, I could get to Maryland, I could get to Florida and say I've made it. But it's not really what I wanted in the beginning. So first, you have to build a roadmap. First, define what masculine is. Find the characteristics in your mind that best describe a masculine man. Maybe it's attaining a leadership position like a CEO, owning property, running a business, or just making this amount of money. You should list your 1 month, 1 year, and 5 year goals in that column of what that person achieves. Then the 1 month is gonna be something that you can start today or tomorrow, that a month from now, you're gonna be able to look back and say, hey, this genuinely made me significant progress on that 1 year goal. So then every month you'll be able to check off and say, am I getting that done? Am I incrementing that to that 12-month period where I can actually buy the $200,000 of real estate? I use Google Calendar, which allows me to plan the day-by-day set tasks that are at specific times, and I have them repeat daily. And then I also use Reclaim, which is an AI app where I can put in habits I have. I want to do this 3 times a week, read 7 days a week, work out 6 days a week. For this, 45 minutes at a time, 30 minutes, and then Reclaim will go in and populate the empty spaces in my calendar so I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing at each part of the day. I read a study that tracked kids for several years, and the ones that were the most successful were the kids that simply never quit at what they did. You don't have to be great at, the Duolingo brain training app you're doing, but you just have to do it for 15 minutes a day. And if you do something for 365 days, you're automatically going to be better than 90% of the population in that area. Now you get to the 99th percentile is you don't stop after a year. You go 5 years, you go 10 years. You make it a habit of your life. So make sure that those goals and that perfect life is actually something you do want. So you should spend some time thinking about this. But when you break those goals up and you have the roadmap and you say these increments will lead to larger increments, 5 years from now, you eventually hit that goal. As long as you don't give up, when you remove the distractions, when you enable a growth mindset, when you build the habits that let you focus and actually knock the tasks off your to-do list, you become unstoppable and you become the person you said you were going to be in 5 years. And then 5 years from now, you sit down and make this exact same checklist, except the goals are bigger. And you're suddenly the king, you're the queen, you're on top, you're ruling the world. And everyone's asking, how the hell did you actually pull that shit off? And you beat the 99%. Find your way to cross off whatever is important to you every single day. Each week, I want you to reflect on what worked and what didn't. Did you do all the bottom habits? Are the middle habits actually attaining progress? Are you still falling victim to porn and social media and all the dopamine rushes that are entering your brain? I do a lot, even me. And I guarantee it's going to take a while, but over time, you should be able to say, I've made progress. And then you just become on autopilot. Suddenly your goals aren't goals, they're just inevitable as long as you continue pushing every single day. Start from the top, make your plan, and work your way down into the things you can do in the medium and even the very day-to-day term. Know that these habits that you are conquering make you a better person to achieve the big things, and it'll only get exponentially easier as you keep pushing toward them. And I know you can do it because I wasn't the type of person that could achieve that. I had to put myself through stress. I had to take on problems that I didn't want to do. But eventually my lobes became stronger. My brain started functioning better. My fitness journey improved because I wanted that. And I wanted that 5-year goal to happen. And my 5-year goal with this channel is to, gain this many subscribers and to be this influencer and to be putting out these types of videos. And every day I'm working on content to make that happen. And you guys haven't seen me quit yet. And I don't intend to because I know I'm going to make it. But I couldn't do it if I had the distractions and I didn't have the ability to believe in myself. Just believe in yourself. Because everything else will line up when you believe you can actually do it. I'll see you guys next time. It's been fun. Subscribe if you like this video. And I'll be back with more.